Morning, Ash. What's up, brother? Nice pop this morning on CPI. Man, talk about a massive shakeout in Tesla. Right back into the range. Unbelievable. Morning, man. Morning, everybody. Can't see your own name? You might have to restart your computer. Yeah, definitely some market-friendly CPI numbers. Trump to hold new China tariffs at 30%. At least that's what he said. Thanks, Corey. Yeah, Palantir definitely looks interesting. It's got a spot 133.5 that I'll be watching here today. $133.5 looks pretty interesting. There's a few names out there that look really good for today, potentially. Um, you know, I what I like to do is after I've trimmed some, I just tend to trail on the 10 and the 20. That's my like natural inclination to do here. I don't want to I don't want to choke off trades too soon, but sometimes I end up doing that. I mean, catch 22. You know, it's like you don't want to give too much back, but it really depends where you bought things, right? Like for instance, TMDX I bought way down here. At this point, it's just, the rest is riding the 20. But if I'm going to buy something new, I demand some cushion, by the end of the day so I can hold it overnight. And then, dependent on the second or third day move, then I'll take some off the table, similar to how I did in ARC yesterday. And then I'm just trailing at that point. My thoughts on SMCI, of all the semis, I think this one's a bit of a laggard, but the setup's not bad. Yeah, I definitely think it's a bit of a laggard. There are others that, are acting a little bit better. Actually, quite a bit better. Like KLAC is one of them, right near all-time high. ASML, I think, is better, even though it's, deeper, a little deeper out of a pullback. CRDO had awesome earnings, but obviously being sold off a little bit. If it can find some support on the rising moving averages, much less overhead. Rubric, a bit of a sell-off past 3 days on some heavy volume. Yeah, Rubric, a bit of a heavy sell-off past few days. I think banking names look really good too. Like a JP Morgan, which I bought yesterday, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Schwab. Some of these names look awesome. Yeah, Hood needs longer. Yep. Yeah, I'm watching SoFi here. It's already on my watch list. Just be careful getting too aggressive right at the open. Recently we've been getting these morning drives, pullbacks, kind of nasty pullbacks, and then something will find some support intraday and then kind of grind back. So no need to pile into everything all at once right at the open. And there are several nice looking stocks out there too. My ARC is working great. Yeah, Palantir looks interesting. 133.5 looks like the level that I would focus on. Hmm. Yeah, crowd looks ready too. There's a lot. There's a lot. This one's also on my watch list. There's a ton of names out here that look pretty dang good. That one is definitely another one. This one looks good. Palantir looks good. SoFi looks pretty good. Shopify looks pretty good. Baba looks interesting. Yep, Shop looking clean too. The banking names: BK, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Schwab looks pretty good. There's a lot. There's literally tons of merchandise out here. Just don't you don't have to pile into everything at once, right? Let the market pull you in. If you have traction on some prior positions, then you can go after something else. I've done a halfway decent job of getting myself positioned, but obviously I've been in some good ones too that I no longer own, like Hood, Palantir, Uber, some name CrowdStrike. I mean, I've been in all those, Netflix, and I no longer own them. So, you know, it hasn't been perfect trading, but we're at least finding some really nice ones, and I'm still in some good ones. Even CLS kind of frustrating too. I was in this thing at $100, kind of chopped myself out a little too soon. Yeah, Zscaler kind of acts like a leader, and then Rubrik pulling back on a little bit heavy volume, but this thing went up 100%. This thing just kind of has earned the right to go sideways and build a new base. Yeah, I'm a little bit weary about buying CrowdStrike when Rubrik is pulling back like this, but I actually think CrowdStrike's your leader. It's just a slower leader. It's not going to move quite like Rubrik. Rubric had an offering. Well, raise money when you can, not when you have to. I feel like that's usually a pretty good rule. What are my thoughts on Tesla? Yeah, well, I got shaken out. Well, I didn't really get shaken out. I just sold mine at 330, but then it hasn't given a tight buy spot, so I haven't been able to buy it back. And I don't get FOMO. If something's gonna bounce like this on Tesla and just not give a buy spot, I mean, what am I supposed to do about that? I'm always thinking risk first. Something has to set up a spot for me to come get it, and then if it does, then I'm happy to go buy it again. But even if it's higher, I mean, I personally don't care. Just wait for it to give you a tight day, and it hasn't given that. All it did was give a big, massive washout candle and just a complete V-shaped recovery from there. I mean, that's no setup, and that's nothing you could limit risk on. So I really wouldn't even be worried about that. Focus on the charts that are tight and coming out of tight spots, and get yourself involved. And someday, at some point, Tesla will give you a spot to buy it. Just isn't today. So don't worry about it. And part of the reason too, Trevor, like think about it. Nvidia went from like $100 all the way to 500 before I thought it had the best setup ever. Right. Then it had a 5-month base, and that was a beautiful setup. Mobileye. Yeah, no. There's no momentum in this thing just yet. What looks interesting about this? The fact that it's gotten chopped by 70%, or the fact that it's maybe in a stage 1 base or flagging here, but there's nothing. There's no momentum here just yet. I don't want to assume momentum's coming. Let it show up and then you buy it. You got toast last week. Well, my stop's at yesterday's lows. Yeah, ASML, LRCX, KLAC, TSM, NVIDIA, AVGO, ALGM, ACLS. I mean, there's so many stocks in the semi space that are acting pretty well right now. So many. Yeah, OUST, I saw that up in after hours too, but this isn't viable. This had a little flag down here, but after that, if you didn't buy this thing on 527 or 528, it's just gone. Well, let's take a look. Urban Outfitters, nice little flag here. It's got to get over 73.21. And KYVO or KVYO. This shouldn't even be on your radar. It's below the 200. Let it get up above the 200 and set up properly. JP Morgan, good mention, but when I look at it and ask myself, how much more can this thing run? How do you view nice setups that are close to all-time high? Stocks close to all-time high are bullish, brother. You don't know how high they can go. I mean, do you prefer stocks that are completely beaten up in the trash? Like, do you look at Sedge and say to yourself, oh man, this thing's got a long way to go. And you think it's going to go, it's going to go up 1,000% because it's that far down from all-time high? Or do you look at a JP Morgan and say to yourself, man, there's not a single person who owns JP Morgan who's basically in the red, and this thing can end up just going? How do you know JP Morgan doesn't go to, it's like Nvidia. When Nvidia did this and was like right up here, did you ask yourself, oh man, how much higher can this thing go? It's already near all-time high. Oh, well, it just went up a triple from there. It only tripled. Or right up here, did you say to yourself, yep, I don't know how much higher this thing can go. It's right near an all-time high. How much higher can this little flag really go? Well, how about another 40%? So it's like, I think you're asking the wrong thing. You should be asking, is JP Morgan in a leading group? Does it have a clean chart where you can buy it and manage risk from? Does it have, a bunch of bag holders in it? No. If the answer is no, then you want to own those kind of stocks. Is it in a leading group? Does it have a clean technical setup? Do they have earnings and sales? Can I manage my risk? Right? Worrying about how high it can go, leave that for the moving averages to figure out for you. Right? Play a dummy, buy it, manage risk, trim some into strength, and then let the moving averages take you to the moon. Yeah, exactly, Brian. All-time high equal no overhead resistance. Asking yourself, oh, how much higher can this stock go? It's already at all-time highs or near all-time highs. Well, how do you know it doesn't break 280 and then end up going to 350? I mean, why not? I mean, when this stock was over here near all-time highs, at 150, were you asking a similar thing? Oh, this thing's near all-time highs. How much more room does this thing have to go? Well, how about another $130? Yeah, you're overthinking it. What exactly? There's a reason JP Morgan looks good, and so does Goldman Sachs, and so does, Schwab, and so does Morgan Stanley, and so does Bank of New York Mellon. There's a reason these things all look good. Now, do they fail and then break down? Could be, but there's nobody who owns these things who is unhappy owning them because they're not red at all. So if you owned a stock where you were not red, would you consider selling it? No, probably not. You're just going to hold on to it. They're great companies. They're in uptrends. The moving averages tell you they're in uptrends. The group is acting strong. So, the people who are driving the group higher, typically an institution, are buying the heck out of them. Worried about what the catalyst might be in the future going down the road to take them higher. Who cares? That shouldn't be any of your concern. You're using your brain way too hard. You're trying to figure out the things that you don't need to even try and know about. I mean, completely irrelevant information. Yeah, EVLV, this is a decent little flag. What the heck does EVLV do? Too thin for me, but Lindbaum, too thin. So just be careful with that. But, thinking about things that are out of your control doesn't matter. Who cares what the catalyst will be? Just ask yourself, are they in uptrends? Are they in leading groups? Do they have good earnings and sales? Do they have clean technical setups where you can manage risk from? Yeah, FAS, the ETF. Yeah, FAS works too. You can do this as well. I thought ELF is good near the high volume close. I wouldn't buy it here just yet. Why does everybody want my commentary on these damn quantum stocks? QUBT, just like QBTS and Rigetti and IONQ, they got no earnings and sales. They're definitely in momentum uptrends. So, they look good from that perspective. They've got nice momentum uptrends. But I wouldn't go chasing these stocks here. They're extended from the 50 simple moving average. And QUBT of all of them has nothing to do with quantum. They don't do anything quantum related. They're a former beverage company. They might say they do something with quantum, but they don't do anything with quantum because they don't make any money from quantum. How can you do something with a certain theme but then make no money? That's like saying I do something with quantum. I do quantum stuff too. And just like QUBT, I make no money doing it. But I'm in the quantum field. I'm for sure 100% absolutely doing quantum research every single afternoon. And like QUBT, I make no money. So we have that in common. It's like if you want to buy a quantum stock, buy IBM. There you go. There's your quantum stock. Oh, Carter, I 100% do quantum. 1,000%. I do as much quantum as QUBT. I do as much, maybe more. Maybe more quantum. What do I see with Rocket Lab? Big distribution volume. As soon as Trump said that Starlink was a good product, this thing started to get its ass kicked. Exactly, Racer. That's exactly right. A real quantum aerial. Yeah, Rocket Lab started to get beat up as soon as Trump said Starlink was a pretty good product. And not that that really matters, but this is just going to need to digest. Like where the heck do you buy this thing? Like where exactly do you buy this thing? I don't know. That's the problem with Rocket Lab. I don't really see a spot. Yeah, INSM. Yeah, this could be a high volume close setup. But man, the last time this thing had a big move up like this, it just went sideways for a year. But yeah, your spot's going to be 90.93. It's obviously gapping up from there right now, so they don't make it easy. BYD, the Chinese electric EV, is that what they are? Or is this Boyd Gaming? Because isn't it like BYD, BYDDF or something like that? I mean, this thing looks pretty dang good. This is like a nice, a bit slow, kind of like my JP Morgan, but can't really hate what's going on here. Makes me not like my Bob idea as much. Oh, gaming. Yeah, that's what I thought. Boyd Gaming. Yeah. think it's all right with me. A lovely day. Man, GitLab, dude. This thing has just never been able to get off the mat. My thoughts on XPEV? Yeah, I kind of like XPEV. My comments on Dell. I like Michael. Michael's a good dude. Yeah, this is just flagging out here. I mean, this looks like a lot of these other semi names. With obviously Nvidia being your cream of the crop, but then these other ones are working well. Nvidia, I mean, there, here's the thing. If Nvidia keeps going, Dell will be just fine. It'll get picked up. It's just similar group. They do something for Nvidia. I mean, when AMD starts to get back over its 200, you don't want to be a negative on the sector. When AMD is getting ready to get over the 200 simple moving average, just best to be positive on the group. No, when you get a failed breakout like this, I wouldn't go chasing the dip. I mean, again, in hindsight, you buy it and then all of a sudden it wicks back up and you're like, yeah, cool, easy trade, easy money. But failed breakouts like this usually no good. You got to let it digest. This is too much volatility for me. Too much volatility. Look at you. No, get away from 1 month performance. NXT is just one name in a terrible group. Don't look at 1 month performance. Go to 3 month. And solar doesn't make the cut. What brokers would I recommend for swing trading? You could swing trade on Robinhood, man. There's no special broker needed. Yeah, I don't know about this TLN, man. This is just choppy. I don't want to be involved in that kind of price action. Might make me pull my hair out. Yeah, my thoughts on XPEV. Yeah, I like XPEV. It's going to be gapping up today. We'll see. This thing is such a gappy chart, so it makes this thing very difficult to trade. Yeah, Shop. Yeah, Clement, you saw I had that on the watch list last night. Shop's one of those that absolutely has my attention. I just want to be cautious of, we talked about this the other day where it was like we're getting these morning ramps and then you're getting that pullback right first thing in the morning. And then you're kind of getting, that stock's finding some support and then it's kind of turning around and grinding from there. So going to kind of just wait for the first few minutes of the market to settle. And then I'm going to look for my spot on it. So that's kind of where my head's at. Let it ramp in the morning, give me the first 5 minute opening range break, see if we can even get over that spot, and then, look for it. I mean, yeah, we talked about this already, and I know you already know, so I think it's just good to be patient here for a moment. Looks good. SoFi looks pretty decent. Palantir's definitely has a spot that's set. Duolingo worth watching. Yeah, it's worth watching. Just let it finish building a base, right? This thing has just been in a massive uptrend, super massive move. I mean, this is just digesting here. Ideally, it would hold 486.56, which is the high volume close on the earnings gap up day. And then it would just chop around sideways between 486 and, 540 for like the next week or two. GRYP. You know, I don't, I don't know what to make of this. Recent IPO goes from 12 cents to 280 and then gives back 70% of the move and then just now going sideways. Eh. Yeah, AS is interesting as well. It's definitely a nice one. I think AS definitely looks interesting. Just building out a nice flat pivot here. What do I think of MPC? Nice. Somebody else brought up Civi to me yesterday too. MPC, Civi. Yeah, crude oil would just need to keep going higher. Yeah, AS definitely coming off the high volume close. I think it looks good, man. I think it looks pretty dang good. Looks like it's got a nice little flat top there. Yeah, I think Baba looks interesting. It's like one of my favorite Chinese names, if any. Yep. Yeah, GOLTH, MMYT look pretty good too on the short side. Oh, woo. Almost need an espresso before this market open, man. Gold gave back that pop this morning for CPI. Yeah, semis are acting fantastic, man. I don't know, SMR, it's just I wouldn't have called it even a breakout attempt yesterday. I mean, it was a breakout attempt yesterday, but it's so extended from the 50. I really don't think people should have been buying this thing anyway. Um, personally. And then, when you had CCJ coming down right at the yesterday, right from the open, just shaking everybody out effectively, right under prior day low. And then, SMR, Oklo kind of started to pull in with it. And then it wasn't just those, it was like GEV was pulling in with it, CEG was pulling in with it, VST was pulling in with it. The whole group was kind of coming down. Um, yeah, wouldn't have been one that I would have bought anyway. Apps. Yeah. Yeah, this one looks like it's trying to finish up a nice stage one bottom and go into stage two. Yeah, I agree. The earnings and sales on apps are actually pretty interesting. AMSC offering yesterday, convertible notes for Iron. How do these crypto names look after yesterday? Mara, Riot, Hut, Cores, Hut. FTK? No, it only trades 8 million bucks a day, man, and extended from the 50. Nah, no good on FTK yet. No, I also don't like advanced auto parts, man. This is breaking out, but boy, these earnings and sales are effing terrible. Let it really shape up higher from here if you want to come in for APP or AAP later. COHR, nice little flag here. I mean, again, same thing. Let it get back up above the 200 simple moving average, right? And the reason I say that is I remember ESTC, it comes right up to the 200, kind of consolidates, and then ends up breaking back down. Let me show you. Right? So it's like you think it's good just underneath the 200 for a moment, and then all of a sudden, right back down. So, before you go hunting for COHR, just let it get above the 200, let it establish itself above the 200, and then you come get it. Yeah, NOW looks good, but just tell your grandfather to buy it. He'll be happy. He'll get you a nice Christmas present in 2 years. It's so slow, dude. It's like you buying JP Morgan. It's probably not best. I mean, I could buy NOW, but if you're not trading with a bigger account, dude, you don't want NOW. You're gonna pull your hair out owning this slow ass thing. Frog, yeah, I didn't like the volatility the other day, and it's just still going sideways. Same deal. Still, it's not as extended actually anymore. Yeah, SMCI is hanging in there. SMCI is definitely hanging in there. But then the question becomes, would you rather SMCI or TSM a few days ago? SMCI or KLAC a few days ago when it had the exact same chart set up. Yeah, CLS is kind of annoying, dude. CLS, I had this thing perfectly at $100, and then I just, like a total idiot, I like trimmed right in here, and then I like trimmed some more, and then I saw these little two lows against the 10, and I just got a little impatient and I cut it the next day like a total moron. Should have just respected the 20 instead, and now I'm on the outside looking in, but it is what it is. I think it does still look really good. It's just still a touch extended from the 50. So I can't come in and buy it just yet, but it does look good. Not going to lie. Looks pretty dang good. Yeah, high volume close on INSO. Yeah, you got shaken out of CLS yesterday. It was a name that was on watch, but it was not on my buy list because it was just still too extended from the 50, and it was something that I mentioned in the room yesterday. Just do not buy stocks that are extended from the 50. Do not do it, Nicholas. I mean, I literally said it a bunch yesterday. Just got to avoid stocks that are stretched from the 50. Let them go sideways, like a Palantir, right? Palantir is no longer extended from the 50, so it was buyable. Hood's fine, but it was extended from the 50 when it finally went through resistance. When it finally got through that $66 level, we're still far too away from this 50 simple for me to come and get it, right? I mean, it's just still too far extended. Let it go sideways, right? Palantir was the same deal, but since it's been going sideways here for the last 2.5 weeks, the 50 is caught up. I just do not want to deal with stocks that are extended. Oh shoot, guys! I just realized the hour. No, arm's not incredibly extended. Semis look awesome. Just let arm finish setting up above the 200. Maybe a little higher low setup, and then you can come get it. But guys, I got to go get ready for stream in the room. Thank you guys all for being here as always, and I will see you guys in 23 hours. Trade them well, please. Don't do anything crazy. Let the market pull you in. Bunch of nice looking setups out there. Whether you're talking about potentially a Palantir or some banking names or pretty much any semi you could look at right now. But just trade them well. Don't do anything crazy, and we will see you guys in 23 hours.